So, another episode.
Okay.
What's on tap, brother?
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Weigh-In. The title of today's episode is Hoes, Housewives, and Daddy's Girls.
Oh boy, we're gonna get in trouble.
I was like, so we got like three main elements that I want to talk about, and basically like we're going into have women, digressed or like what's going on with women right now. So have girls going wild. Porn stars, strippers, they got OnlyFans, Instagram thoughts, and women just taking on more traditionally masculine behaviors, So what I was thinking was, has the lack of a father figure, kind of caused like a rift in like the psychology of women?
Well, it's probably part of many things, but
and like, would you say that they are going wild? Because like, I just feel like growing up, and maybe it's social media, like the things that I used to see like wasn't as prevalent. Like girls like slurping 7 dudes.
Well, like what's her name? What was it? Did you catch that girl's name?
Eliza.
That's
Yes.
Right. Well,
and Selena Powell. Shout out, ladies.
Okay, shout them out. Right.
I mean, whatever. But
so much money at stake. So I think a lot of these girls have justified it to themselves that a little hanky panky, a little goofiness, some outrageousness. I'm gonna make money. It's worth it.
So they are like kind of transgressing those ways of like,
there's so much money being made, man, on the internet.
I'm not gonna portray this good girl thing. Like, I'm gonna be who I want to be.
They don't care anymore. The gloves are off. There's money to be made.
So they don't feel objectified.
No, not at all, because they're not the only ones doing it. The two that we just looked at in one of our previous episodes. Yeah. It's happening nonstop.
Like, what do you think caused it though? Like, is it post Me Too? Is it just a sign of the times?
It's a lot of peer pressure from a post Me Too kind of thing,
Is it the social media?
Yeah, because if you're a pretty girl, and let's say you're kind of a hoe and you're out there playing around a little bit, but you're not taking advantage of it, you can get dogged by your friends by saying, like, why are you sucking dick if you ain't actually, making any money doing it? So they take it to the next level.
That's true. And like with the advent of the OnlyFans, where like you don't have to have the traditional, porn starlet setup where you can kind of like set it up on your own, get your Cash App and make your own money. Like, everyone's doing it. There's like a
lot more than normal. Some of these people come from fractured families. That's not like say they're just they're coming from situations that aren't good. And that's the only out they have, some of these girls. I'm not saying that's justifiable, but
that's not all of them, though. Like,
no, I'm not saying all of them.
Yo, I like sucking dick. I might as well get paid
there's
for
those,
it.
Yeah, there's those ones too. But I mean, it's not they're all just saying like, I'm going to make money because I can. Some people have maybe went through abused households. I mean, black or white and everything. And you can tell how the way they talk and how they carry on conversations is exactly what their situation's about.
Absolutely.
So Eliza and her girlfriend, they were a little over like, the 8th grade level of intellect. I don't know how much really more I would say.
Eliza said she was a CPA and she's getting a real estate
she's not doing
license.
well unless she's sucking her way through the college. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to dog these women. I'm just saying more or less, what I think it could be.
But remember how like it used to be taboo? Like, just think about like.
But there was no internet. There was no money being made.
But think about slut shame culture. You know, like you don't want to be seen as a slut. You don't want your girlfriends or the guy that you with. It seems like that's been thrown out the window, and they're just like, hey, this is who I am. Respect it. I got a bunch of girls behind me. They with it. They my bitches. Let's go. Like, like, are we just like, is this where we're at now?
Yeah. But look, also guys and dudes like these risque kind of masculine type of attitude, personality women. They like it's like a pride thing. If your girl's a little slutty and she gets around, I mean, you don't want to necessarily be proud of that. But if you don't get back to bang her back yourself, if you don't go back and start taking care of the deeds yourself, you're gonna look bad. So, and these girls are so powerful. The things they can say, they can shame you to death almost.
I get that.
It's a mess. Actually, I don't really have an answer. I'm just throwing out a lot of ideas and thoughts and things. But it's scary.
So this is the second element I want to talk about, and it's basically, is the housewife dead? So we have post Me Too.
Sure.
We have, equal pay ratifications. We have the recognition of the depth of the talent pool of females in all genres, which were previously dominated by men. So now you got, like Beyonce, the single ladies, the independent ladies, like we can go out and make our own money. boo, I can come and pick you up. Like where in the gender politics, gender identity politics, where the man would normally say, hey, I'm gonna pick you up and I'm gonna lead. Now the woman can lead. Like, I got my own money. I can have sex with you if I want to or if I don't want to, and then I can drop you off and I can pick you up. So is the traditional housewife dead? Because, like the nuclear family, in
the world of celebrity, yeah, it's dead somewhat in the world of celebrity. Because even Beyonce,
is it just celebrity though?
For the most part, I mean, it could be. It could be happening on any level. But I mean, if you don't have any need to not want to do it, then you probably are going to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Unless you're going to bring home a pie every night, you can't have a pizza pie every night.
Yeah.
But Beyonce probably would like to cook if she had the time, but obviously has the money to have somebody take care of her for her. So she's still deep inside is a great mother, but she's not doing necessarily she's not bending over doing the clothes. She's not sweating. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm not so much talking about celebrities. I'm just talking about women in regular society, like your women, that's working at a call center or like a supermarket or a clothing store or whatever. That traditional role of housewife, and I'm not saying good or bad for housewife, but it's just gone.
It has backed off a bit. Yeah, it's probably there still to some extent. I know there's a lot of this stuff where you treat me equal and I treat you equal. And she would expect if you get home a little early, maybe you could pre-start some soup, or whatever you're doing. Maybe get the meat going, chop up some onions or whatever potatoes and things. There are guys who get home and just expect it to be there. That's just not right. You need to contribute a little bit. My wife will actually prep up a lot of the meal, and I help her. Yeah. But she has no problem. I'll do the grilling, and I'll prep up the garlic bread, whatever it might be. Oh, I know better.
Yeah.
But I don't mind, though, you see? Because why would somebody not want to do that stuff? It's fun to make food and prep and everything a little bit.
No, absolutely. And, any relationship, you have to be a unit.
Yeah, you do.
It has to be, give and take. And, obviously... And like I said, I don't want to get into the whole gender identity politics thing, but as a man, I'll take out the garbage. I'll do the more physically demanding things. But, like you said though, if I can get, the dinner started and everything going, I'm with that.
Yeah.
But I think now, cause, and definitely post Me Too, where it's the pay ratifications where they're like, hold up. We're paying this man this amount of money, and then we're not paying a woman who's doing the same job the same or equal amount of money. And they started to and I know they haven't done it fully, but they're starting to make some headway in that. Sure. Like I said, women can they can go out on their own lives and they don't have to be as dependent on men. So I personally definitely think that there is something to be said about the housewife being dead. I don't think we're going to see any more traditional housewives in the future, millennials, Gen Z, and whatever's coming up after that. And that's not a good or bad thing in my opinion.
And I know that, but I don't know if I really think it's totally just the house. The housewife is dead, because everybody's just not going to stop doing whatever their chores were. Nobody's going to get nothing done in the house. If you got children and stuff, I think it's getting to be a bit of a blend, and people are sharing experiences and responsibilities when it comes to this stuff. But it's not like she's just not going to. Most guys aren't doing their clothes, the impression you're trying to give is it's really changed their dress. Maybe, but not totally.
It's just an opinion. But I'm just thinking women want to get more out into the business landscape, and not that they weren't, but they just want to get more out there.
And this is a time for women too. Obviously, it's very open for it. Yeah, well, definitely is a modification. It's everything's a constant growth. Our brains are developing, relationships and
society's developing.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
a lot. And you could we all see, everybody that's out there living. There's a lot of changes going on. I'm with it, if ladies, if you want to take me out, take me out, come pick me up, tuck me in too, I'm with it.
Well, a very good topic, buddy.
That's definitely. So the last element I want to talk about is how important to a girl's development is the father figure. Does a father affect how girls interact with men as they get older? Will it lead to higher levels of self-esteem? And the Chris Rock test. Keep your daughter off that pole. Keep your daughter off the pole.
Yeah. Even if there's a sale at Kmart or Walmart, keep her off the pole.
So as a father, how important is a father And having a daughter.
Oh, it's extremely important. And girls are a little harder to control than boys. And boys are a different form of control. But since we're talking about how important the father figure is, it's extremely important.
In a woman's life.
But you also need to be very, very upstanding in your relationship to your wife so your daughter can see it.
Yes.
Because you can't sit her down and teach her necessarily. She's watching by experience.
Yeah,
so if you're doing a good job, she'll know that that's the kind of man she might want. And she'll know how to deal with a man if she runs into one that she doesn't like. It's like, well, that she says to herself, that's just not the way I was brought up. You know, I would expect a little bit more from the man that I want to be in love with, you know?
So you're saying there's a extreme importance of the optics, what the young girl sees as far as the relationship between the mother and the father. I agree with that. I agree with that.
I think a daughter reacts with her mother differently because the mother can actually talk more and sit down. They talk about things that happen within the structure of a little woman becoming a woman.
Definitely.
They get their period. They have to, that's not, I don't get brought in on that. That gets discussed between mom and daughter, right? And some of the other things, dating, how to take care of yourself. Mothers tell them, be careful. Boy's going to try to touch you. He's going to want to do things. But it's not my job to necessarily tell her that. But I always want to be I want her to know what a gentleman's like.
Yeah,
and I think that's what I think.
But at the same time, I played that Will Smith, Bad Boys 2, Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Where Reggie comes to the door and it's like, yo, who the fuck is this? Who you here for?
Well, I've done that a few times.
Like 18, you look like you're 40. Oh, yeah. So
I've done that.
So me having a sister, me having a niece, I've definitely experienced, that level of being in somebody's life. And that's what, I've done that for my sister. I've allowed her to see that masculine presence and say, this is how a man is supposed to be. And regardless of, the fun that we have with certain episodes, I personally and, my partner included, we definitely treat women in the highest regard. We treat everybody in the highest regard, but that's only if you treat us in the highest regard. Because if you're a man and you disrespecting us, then we gonna disrespect you. If you're a woman, you disrespecting us, we gonna disrespect you. Sure. But you gotta keep the same energy. But I definitely agree. Me growing up, it was a 2-parent household. So we got to react and learn from both energies. And my sister is an amazing woman because my father's in her life.
He stayed on top of it.
Yeah. And she got to see, like you said, this is how a man treats a woman. This is my dad. This is my superhero. This is number one. So if a man is not, this is the benchmark. So if a man's not living up to that level, I'm not with it.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree that as far as the development and definitely self-esteem, when a father's going to be for the most part in the beginning years, the most important male figure in a woman's life. So when you see your daughter and you tell her baby, you look amazing, honey, you're intelligent, you're smart, you're my princess, you're going to grow up and do amazing things. This is what she's recording, and this is how she's feeling that men should treat her and how men should react to her and how she should treat men. Because I think a lot of times, too, women that don't know how to treat their men are women who grew up in households where there was not a man.
That's or they witnessed not a good man. Also.
Or they definitely witnessed not a good man. So now they're dealing with little boys, and then you're getting in society we're getting the repercussions of women who have to deal with little boys and who are not used to dealing with men. So they don't know how to deal with a man who's centered. They don't know how to deal with a man who's willing to agree. If you grow up in a house where you see your mother and father arguing all the time, then you're gonna think that's how I need to be.
Yeah, and you become an argumentative type of a gal, and you don't react well in your relationship, whatever it might be. You're almost because you think it's normal.
Yes, you think this is how we're supposed to communicate. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's why fathers are tough on younger boys when they're roughhousing with their sisters.
Yes.
Because they get a little too carried away. They're not saying that she's going to get hurt, but the boy should not think that a woman is treated as a roughhouse.
Yes, that's very important.
That's important too. So, and she'll see that growing up, and then she won't act like a hothead necessarily. But we all are hotheads. You don't want to be a hothead every day.
No.
And so there's a lot of key things that do take place in the household. If there's no man there, or the mother's out working late, and the father's taking care of the kids, but he's sleeping on the couch because he's got a hangover going on, and the kids are running around the house. You don't know what they're doing, watching porn or shit gets out of control in these situations.
I never seen my parents argue.
That's amazing. I really respect that.
Now, let me qualify that. Like, if they did argue, they would go out into the car, and like we kind of knew, we were smart enough kids to know what was going on. But they always took it out to the car, and they never did it in front of us, so we never visually heard it.
That's interesting,
and that means a lot to me. I don't argue. I do not argue with women. Like, it's just not a thing that I do. And I've had girls say, "I'm your girlfriend. I get to argue with you," and I'm like, "No, I don't." You like, no, you don't. Like, we're not arguing because it's not comfortable energy to me. Like, if we have to debate, we can debate, but I don't argue. So, man, that was a great episode. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the weigh-in. Please, if you like this episode, like, share it with your friends, hit that like button, subscribe, but yeah, enjoy.
Good night.
I definitely think that there's going to be that fear, and I also think there's going to be that coalescing of all types of humans saying, a human died at the hands of an alien. We want swift and immediate justice. But here's the thing. Will these aliens receive some type of intergalactic diplomatic immunity?
Depends how much fear we have against them. Like, obviously, our government, even right now in the real world, our government, seems to have some kind of communication, be it distant, whatever it might be. There's obviously some fearfulness. There's a reason why everything's amped up the way it's been recently. There's obviously a lot of things flying around. There's a lot more stuff that's been caught on video.
Yeah, they've been slowly unpacking, bringing things out.
So we're gonna let them slide a little bit, maybe. You're thinking?
Here's the thing.
I can see it actually.
Here's the thing. So,
though the public will want swift justice.
I definitely believe that the public are going to want swift justice, hang that dirty alien up, like, do whatever. But here's the thing. So you have a extraterrestrial species that has learned intergalactic travel.
Yeah.
Come to our planet from galaxies away. Who knows what they may have?